Hello and welcome to our presentation on the impact of information technology on the attitudes towards immigration.
I'm going to begin swiftly removing criminal, illegal immigrants from this country.
Canada is a country that was built by immigration.
A clear view about immigration. I believe that immigration has brought significant benefits to Britain.
No one believes more strongly than me in the benefits of migration to our country.
Although immigrants make up 15% of the US population, immigration has been a very controversial issue for a long time now, with views on immigration also changing rapidly with technology. We're going to start off by investigating the contrasting views on immigration between different social groups, with additional focus on the Republican and Democratic parties in the United States. When asked about their views on immigration, 83% of Democrats thought immigrants strengthen the community with their hard work and talents, and just 11% say they are a burden. Among Republicans, 38% say immigrants strengthen the country, while nearly 49% say they burden it. The University of Pennsylvania carried out a study of citizens, showing how the views on immigration have progressed over the last 2 decades, split between those who identify as Democrats and those who identify as Republicans. Note, it can be seen that over time, Democrats have favored immigrants much more than Republicans. However, 2006 marks a time from which the two viewpoints diverged significantly. Democrats and Republicans didn't used to be so far apart on this question. At the start of Obama's presidency, their numbers were indistinguishable from each other. During the 2016 campaign and into Trump's presidency, a massive gap has opened up. This suggests that the spread of fake news during Trump's presidency had a negative impact on the views of Republican Americans on immigration. What's really interesting to note is that 2006 marks the beginning of the social media boom. From the data collected by the Pew Research Center, we can observe the percentage of US adults that use social media since 2006. The number of adults using social media has continued to grow year over year. Note the strong correlation between the increase in social media use to the diverging views of immigration. As we can see, Republicans and Democrats have historically had very similar views on immigration, but since 2006, which is coincidentally the beginning of the social media boom, the two have drastically separated. We're now going to investigate how the news and media can skew the general public's opinion on immigration. Misinformation and fake news is becoming a large problem and can lead to or reinforce negative attitude towards immigration. A survey conducted in the US in 2018 reported that 46% of people report they occasionally see fake news from major news sources, and 31% of people report they regularly see fake news from major news sources. Misinformation becomes harder to counter when the correct answer relies on the subjective interpretation of complex information. A prime example of misinformation on statistics related to immigration was during the 2016 presidential campaign. Trump repeatedly cited estimates of the size of illegal immigrant population in the US that were much higher than those given by the US Department of Homeland Security. Trump also linked immigration, particularly illegal immigration, to crime in ways that were not supported by evidence.
They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
Although the news often negatively impacts the public's attitude towards immigration, there have also been instances where it has positively impacted attitudes. The effect that media reports have on attitudes and how they're shaped is of interest when discussing the impact of ICT on attitudes towards immigration. A study performed by the Journal of Economic Behavior and Organization studied the link between the media coverage of migration and citizens' worries expressed on immigration in Germany following Switzerland's referendum at the peak of the refugee crisis in 2015. The study found a positive and significant association between news reports with positive and neutral tones and a decrease in concerns about immigrants. While this study only covered Germany in 2015, the effects can be extended to a global scale to show that positive news can create a positive effect on the attitude towards immigrants. Our next topic is the rise of the internet and how quick access to information affects attitudes towards immigration. Information technologies have also made it easier to immigrate and integrate into other countries. The internet allows access to a huge amount of information to help with immigration processes and integration, which has made the process of immigration easier than ever. There are many apps available for people traveling to and through Europe. For example, the app Info8 provides real-time advice on how to cross borders. Other apps help refugees integrate, such as Refuge Germany and Arriving in Berlin. This has been dubbed the appification of migration. Refugees are now taking matters into their own hands because information, advice, and money can be shared quickly. Information technologies are making the constraints of geography more easily overcome.
The rise of the internet has made information regarding immigration much more relatively accessible to people who are trying to immigrate to a new country. When my parents came here in the early 90s, it was very hard for them to compile all the paperwork and documentation. Now, it's very unlikely that someone will forget a document given that there are such extensive checklists available online.
This information is more available than ever, as having access to information technologies through mobile phones has become a norm across the globe. While still one of the lowest ranking countries, Afghanistan has seen mobile telephone subscriptions rise from 5% in 2005 to 65% in 2014. Facebook had a huge jump in adoption in 2008 and currently has over 2.5 billion active monthly users. This has allowed immigrants to keep in touch with their families back home, share their daily lives. This also allows for a reduced sense of distance from the family back home.
The evolution of social media has really helped with the hardships of immigration because now it's much easier to communicate with friends and family back home. All my relatives in India are on WhatsApp or Facebook, so it's a lot easier for me to stay in touch with them than it would have been about 20 years ago.
The development of information and communication technologies has made it easier than ever for immigrants to integrate into their new communities. For anyone with internet access, resources for settlement information are merely a search away. Outside of official government channels, social media also offers an avenue for immigrants to find valuable information from other immigrants. However, some argue that immigrants won't integrate into society if such services allow them for an easy time finding existing immigrant communities.
Having cultured communities in a foreign country is really important for immigration because people are more inclined to help out in their community. Starting a new life is very difficult, and when my parents first moved here to Canada, they didn't even have a place to stay. Luckily, someone they knew in the Indian community offered to let them stay at their place until they got on their feet, which was vital to their success in Canada.
I think having communities in a foreign country is really helpful for people to settle in. I'm personally from the Indian state Rajasthan, and shortly after immigrating to Canada, we joined this thing called the Rajasthani Association of North America, which hosted a bunch of events for people to meet each other, which was super nice.
We now dive into how ICT and social media can help the comfort levels of immigrants who are starting new lives in a foreign country. Securing a job prior to immigration helps boost people's confidence and reduce the risk associated with immigration. With a stable job up front, people are more comfortable to immigrate as they can sustain themselves immediately afterwards. Over the years, information technology such as the internet and online video chat has become more accessible globally. Many companies have evolved their recruiting processes to remote interviewing with Skype for cost reduction. The evolution in recruitment benefits immigrants significantly and pushes the new trend of immigration. According to the Migration Policy Institution of the US, the number of legal immigrants to the US has increased by 22% from 2013 to 2016.
When I moved to Canada 2 years ago, there were tons of job sites available for me to find employment and have the financial stability instead of trying to find a new place to crash.
Overall, the rise of ICT has made immigration much easier than it has been in the past. Equipped with easy access to a large amount of information, the idea of immigration has become much less daunting. On the other hand, people complain about immigrants exploiting the convenience of remote recruitment and disrupting the local job market by offering to work for less benefits and salary. A case study done by Harvard University shows that IT service companies tend to hire H-1B workers for lower-paying entry-level work. Axios reported that 72.4% of Tata's H-1B visa filings were for jobs paying between $60,000 to $70,000 a year. As shown in this video, there are a wide range of opinions and stances different demographics takes towards immigration. The questions have been asked for hundreds of years and could be asked for hundreds more. Do you think immigration is a good thing, or does it just burden first world countries with third world problems? Thank you for listening to our presentation. We hope it was informative and that you enjoyed it.